Everyone, guys.
Morning.
Okay, so quickly sharing up my screen. So guys, again today we are going to talk about a very first module, Git version control system, and we'll talk about like what is a version control system, how to work with some Git commands. So a good amount of tasks we will be conducting here. So, but before that, if anyone feels like you might have some kind of a doubts or some questions, you want to ask upon that, so feel free on that part, and then we will just get started with our like a basic concept today over here. So anyone having any kind of a doubts or questions for today, feel free to go ahead with that. Any kind of question yesterday related to yesterday topic?
No, not here.
Okay, great. Now today precisely we are going to talk about um, the further topics, and in this case we will be talking about that how we are going to work with the version control system, because yesterday we saw that there are some certain tools which we are going to talk about or we are going to use. So in order to continuation of the same thing, we will be talking about today that how we are going to work with the similar kind of tools, but at the same time we will also be focusing on to see like what's the different roles and responsibilities we are going to get when it comes to the Git tool as such here. So, what are the different tasks you're going to conduct and all those different possibilities there. So then only you will be able to get a complete picture that what's the end results you're going to implement, and you're going to get the proper setups as such here. So let's see like how the overall implementations we are going to conduct, and we will be able to get the proper results here. Now, first of all, before even talking about what is a Git and all that stuff, we will be focusing on the understanding that what exactly what exactly the version control system is all about. What is the benefits and advantages we are going to get over here, and then of course after that we will talk about what is the Git and any other version control system. So those understandings we will be implementing here. Uh, there was a technical issues with the recording, so we could not share that, but we have got the recording, so we will be sending you those recordings along with this current today's recording. So the complete details we will be providing. So both today and yesterday recordings we will be providing to you. Right now. So let's see like what's the implementations we are going to conduct over here. So we will be talking about some of the basic understandings to see like how the version control system really works, and in fact what's the role of Git and those kind of possibilities. So let's see, let's focus on that. Now primary what happens that uh, version control system is a basically a development tool, but it's not the developers who are only going to use this tool. This is something which will be utilized by you also. So as an individual, you will also be like focusing, or you will also be working on this, and you will be talking about these functionalities, that how these implementations are really going to work, and we will be like getting the possibilities and the advantages as such here. So we definitely need to talk about, so that we can talk about what are the different issues and benefits we are going to consider, and we are going to get over here. So let's focus on that, so that we can have a proper understanding about this particular here. Now expect that in case in the absence, like we have a situation where we don't have the version control system at all, there is an proper absence of the a tool. We have not integrated it up into our organization. So in that situation, what is going to happen is that the developers is going to, of course, keep the source code locally, like in the version control systems, in their local systems, and they will be like storing up all these different source codes in the specific code repositories in their local systems, in their local laptops, maybe onto Google Drive, on some shared drive. The whole point is that it will not be stored in the version control system, but in fact, locally it will be stored there. Now, what's the disadvantage in this situation? There's a huge disadvantage which we are going to get over here, because provided if something happens to your local system, everything will be gone. You will not be able to recover anything as such there. So it's a very important stuff, that when you work with the source code, you wanted to preserve the source code into a safer location, into a central location. And definitely we don't want to store the source code into a local system, because the for local folders or the local locations are very volatile. There could be a possibility, or there could be a situation in which you may lose everything, because your local system gets disconnected, or maybe your file system gets corrupted, or it gets deleted. So any kind of a situation can happen. So we really don't want to depend on that, and that's the reason why we wanted to have our source code into a secure location. So that's why this is something which is being done by the developers in the absence of the version control system. Second, if you have the version control system, the primary advantage you're going to get is that the developers will be given a centralized repository, like something where the developers can actually store the source code. Forget about storing the source code into a centralized location. We are getting a lot of other benefits also with Git. For example, each and every changes we are preserving, we are storing over here. So whether it's like whether it's a kind of application code changes, or configuration changes, or any kind of modifications in the configurations will be stored, will be preserved in these version control systems. Branching, merging, revise, the commits, the particular reverts, rollback. There are a lot of tasks and activities which we actually conduct, we do with the help of the version control system. And that's the reason why it's considered as one of the most important tool for any development team, because the development team will be depending on this version control system to do the active development. So if 5-6 developers are working, they all will be requiring, they all will be needed a particular like a system, like a centralized mechanism where they can store, and they can have the source code stored all together. And from there they can refer the source code, they can connect to that, or whatever the activities like you feel like they want to conduct, they will be performing over here. All right. So version control system is having a very major role nowadays in the active development. If we talk about the modern development, the developers are not even located into a centralized location. You can understand that now even you or most of the employees are actually working from home. They don't even available into the office laptop or office network. So you can consider that in these situations, version control system in fact is having a very important role, because it's explaining us, or it's specifying that yes, you can store your source code into a centralized location, something where you can reach out, you can connect to this version control system, you can store your repositories, or in fact whatever the tasks and activities you really wanted to conduct, you will be able to perform that. That's the biggest benefit which we are going to get when it comes to the version control system in your organization, into your development process here. All right. So there are two type of version control system. One is the centralized and one is the distributed here. Now, rather than covering two different slides, I'm going to show you in a single image itself what's the primary difference. You don't see the centralized version control systems nowadays very often, but still it's a part of the industry. You may have to work, or you may look upon, or you may see those things in your organization. So that's why it's important for us to see like how this version control system really works. And that's the whole reason why I will be explaining you this, that how exactly this two version control system really works here. So that's what we are going to talk about here. One second. Okay, here we go. So parallel comparison of both the architectures, very important, because then only you will be able to draw a proper comparison that which tool is better, right? So we can also conclude here so that we can have a basic understanding that how the implementations we're going to conduct, and what's the main difference which we have got over here in this one. So that's what we are going to talk about here. So again, on the left hand side, we have the particular centralized architecture, and on the right hand side, we have the distributed architecture, which is available there. Now, the centralized is something which is known as the legacy architecture. I mean, if I talk about, around from 1990s to 2000, so centralized version control system were like on peak, right? So this was the primary category which was available there, and people were actually using it, and they were like going up and utilizing this stuff. But yes, over the period of time, there were some drawbacks in the centralized architecture, which force the organizations and industry to go for the distributed architecture, which is the currently most popular architecture about the version control system here. So let's begin with this and try to understand that how these things are really going to work, and what's the basic understanding we're going to talk about, we're going to consider here. So on the left hand side, if you can see that we have a particular subversion. Now, subversion is one of the most popular centralized version control systems. So that's why we are like referring to that one over here, that we wanted to connect with a centralized architecture. So in this one, what is happening that you have, let's say, a working copy. Now, the working copy, or the focus point of a working copy, is just to have a directory, like a kind of a directory in which you will be doing the active development. So that's a kind of a task which we are trying to promote over here. So in case of working copy or directory, we will be like doing the development. We will be doing the source code modifications and changes. And after that, this is also like a kind of a directory where the developers, most of the time they are working. They are like performing the code changes and modifications in this directory. So that's a kind of a basic directory available there. Now, when it comes to centralized architecture, so it's depending, or it's completely 100% dependent on the central copy, like something which is available onto a remote site, on a remote website. Let's say we have a subversion which is deployed onto a remote site, and from your working copy, you are actually trying to connect to this remote site. But the problem is that if something happens to this central repository, because whether you want to browse the source code, you want to do the commits, you want to see the history, or any kind of activity you want to do on the source code, or those kind of stuff. So in that case, definitely what will happen that you are like reaching out to the central repository, to the central copy over here. And the problem is that when we are working with this kind of architecture, so in this one, if something happens to the to the central repository, everything is gone. Like you will not be able to do anything from your local system. That's one thing. But secondly, like if you are like having your source code available in the central copy, you will even lose that also. There is no way that you will be able to recover the code which is being deployed in this central repository here. So this is a kind of a drawback which we are facing. If you keep everything inside a single copy, inside a single location, inside the central repository, so you will be able to get the problems, and you will be able to get the setups as such here. So also a kind of issue which we are taking up or we are facing with the help of the centralized central repository here. So all the tasks and activities in case of centralized architecture is going to be executed on a remote repository. But again, if something happens to the remote repository or something like that goes on, you will face a complete downtime, and you will not be able to perform anything as such in that situation. So that's the kind of a primary problem and issue which we are going to get over here when it comes to the centralized architecture. But at the same time, if we are dealing with the kind of remote, or like if we are dealing with the distributed architecture, so distributed architecture is totally different as compared to the centralized version control system. As the name suggests, so in distributed architecture, you don't have to worry about anything, but in fact, you are like going to work into a very distributed architecture in a distributed manner, which means like you will be having a local repository along with the working directory, because working directory is just a directory where you will be like doing the code changes or modifications. It's just a current directory for the developers where where you're going to do the code development and all those activities. But the moment you work with the distributed architecture, so you will be having a local repository. You will be having a carbon copy of a remote repository here. So this remote repository which we have got, so you are like establishing the connectivity between the local and a remote repository here, and then that's what we are trying to see, like how there's a connectivity we are going to do, and we will be establishing the connection here. So you do the changes into your local repository, and then what will happen that the similar those changes will be will be moved on to the remote repository over here in this case. So that's a kind of implementation which we are trying to conduct over here at this point. So you perform the changes to the local repository, and then those changes will be moved on to the central repository. So the benefit of local repository is that if something happens to the remote repository, you will be able to access your source code. You will be able to perform you can recover your source code. If for some reason temporarily you are out of the network, or you're not able to reach out to the central repository, then also what will happen that you will be able to perform the changes in the local repository. And when the time comes in, when the particular remote repository comes back, so then in that case what you can do is that you can just perform the push activity and move the changes from the local system to the remote repository. So this is just a kind of approach, like a setup or implementation which we are trying to conduct over here, so that we will be able to get the proper results and the proper benefits here. So this is the biggest benefit, and this is the reason why organizations are going for the distributed architecture, because in that case you don't have to depend on the remote repository always, and you will be like contributing to the local repository. And if something happens to the remote repository, you still have the access to the source code to the local repository, and you can do the changes all together. So that's the biggest benefit and advantage which we are going to get when it comes to the distributed architecture here. So distributed architecture suggests that we are going to work in a distributed process and distributed way, so that we will be able to get the proper results and the executions all together. Right? So Git is one of the most popular tool which is available in the distributed architecture, and that's the reason why we will be following it. And there is a huge movement in the industry that they are looking forward for the implementation of the distributed architecture, because that's the implementations they are trying to look upon here. So you can see here that this is the centralized architecture where every connection or every task we are doing in the central repository, and this is the distributed architecture where we have a local repository in between. So all your operations you're doing on the local repository, and when you wanted to share your changes with the other professionals, or you want to upload to the central repository, in that case you can do the push or pull activities to perform or to sync up the source codes. But till that point you can do the local development in your local repository and itself, and you don't have to conduct anything else onto the remote repository. So that's a kind of advantages which we're going to get over here when it comes to this setup altogether. Right. So this is the way that how the centralized and the distributed version controls really comes up there. Now, as far as the Git is considered, so there is a proper website about the Git, like it's something which is available as an open source. There is no cost associated. Uh, we will be also talking about, like I will be giving you proper understanding what's the difference between GitHub and Bitbucket. So that's a basic understanding we will be conducting. But yes, it's very important thing to understand that Git is a purely open source tool, which means that you don't have to shell out any additional cost as such on this one, and you will be able to just utilize it and use it up for that particular matter as such there. So that's a kind of primary advantage which you're going to get over here, so that you will be able to see like how these implementations you're going to do, and you will be able to get the possibilities right over here. All right. Now, so git-sm is the official website which is available there. Now this is the official website which is actually giving us the source and everything about the Git. So if you really feel like you want to see the core base of the Git, so there is a website available here, right? So you can have an access of that. It's open source, so you can right away see all the open source codes will be available onto the GitHub or any other code repository, like a public code repository, and that's the kind of like a benefit which we are going to get over here in this case. So that's a kind of advantage which is available here. So this is the Git here, the source code, the official code base of Git altogether. Stephen, yes, we will see like how we're going to spin up, like how we're going to create a particular code repository. So definitely you will be getting a proper understanding about that, and we'll talk about that stuff, that how we're going to create the code repositories and all that particular stuff there. So let's just wait for some time, and we'll definitely talk about that. Now, Git, as for like I told you that it's completely open source. You can download it up there. Now, definitely, if we really need to work on with the Git repository, so we also has to we really have to do the installation of a Git over here, so that we will be able to see like how a kind of we can interact with the Git only when we have the Git software installed on a particular system. So definitely we have to install it. Now Git is available for almost every platform, whether it's a Linux or a Windows platform. You will be able to implement it up and store it up there. So definitely it's like something which is available, and we can go for that implementation. So any platform, you can see that it's Windows is available, TabOS is there, Mac OS is there. Now in case of a lot of operating system, for example, if I talk about the Ubuntu, Fedora, Red Hat, CentOS, these are the operating systems where you don't even have to do the installation of a Git. And Git is something which is by default available there, and you can use it, and you can implement it up, and you don't have to do any additional installation altogether. So that's something which is already available, that how we're going to work, and how we're going to do the implementations on that particular aspect here. So that's a kind of implementation which we are going to conduct, and we are going to execute over here. So the operating system which we will be getting in case of AWS on any platform, so there definitely we have the Git pre-installed. But let's say if I have to talk about from my local system, so I have to actually go for the installation of the Git into my local system. There is a software called Git Bash which gets implemented, or which gets installed into the local machine, into the local Windows laptop. In case of Mac operating system, you don't have to do anything additional if you're installing the Git for Mac. So in that case, we can use the standard Git, like a Linux terminal, where you can fire up the Git commands and you can get the proper results. But again, in this case, if you feel like you want to do it into your local system, into your local laptop, then definitely you can go for the Git Bash installation, and you will be able to get the proper implementation. So if like I already have the Git Bash installed into my system, and it's just a kind of additional software available there. But if you feel like you want to download it, for example, if you want to download this for the Windows, so you can just click on this, and 64-bit is the operating system. It's going to be a 50 MB package, and when you're installing this package, so you don't have to you don't have to really do you don't have to change any options. Whatever the options are listed on already, so you have to use the same options, and you have to go ahead with that part. For example, here, all right. So you don't have to change any particular option. So the Git Bash will be installed if you go for the default options only. The moment you change the options, you may miss the Git Bash or any of the other related options. So it's important that when you if you really wanted to do the modifications or the changes, so you can go for the installation. Yes, do not change any options. Let Git Bash installer decide that what we are trying to implement. We are trying to implement or set up over here in this one. So we can just go for the default options, and we can get the proper executions there. Just the options, right? So this is going to be the Git, right? So we will be performing the changes and the modifications, right? So that's like something which we will be conducting to see how we are going to perform the changes and the modifications here. So whatever the interaction we want to do the with the Git, so we will be installing this software so that we can fire up, or we can execute those things, and we can get the desired outputs all along there. So this is just an installation of the tool, so that we will be able to see how exactly the implementations we're going to conduct here. All right, it's the same software which is already installed into my system, but what I did is I just upgraded my existing version there. So like if it's already installed in your system, so you don't have to go and do the reinstallation of this git bash. But yes, if you want to upgrade to a latest version, we can do that. So that's the same thing which I have also conducted into my system, that we are like just really going for the installation, so that we will be able to see like how the implementations are going to work here. So Git is installed. Now we can fire up, or we can do whatever the Git operations we feel like we want to do. So we can perform that particular stuff over here, so that we can see like how these implementations are really going to work, and we will be able to get the desired output as such on this one. So that's a kind of implementations which we are going to conduct. We are going to consider over here, right now. Okay. Now, as far as the Git bash is considered, so this is the software which comes up over here. Now, what's so special about this software? The special thing about this software is that, see, we have a normal command prompt also available, where I can just, like run some Git commands, and it will definitely work here also. So here also I can fire up there. Now, the primary advantage which we are going to get over here with the help of, like Git bash, is that you will be getting an advantage that you can fire up some Git Linux commands. That's a kind of advantage which we are going to get over here, which is like perfect, because what happens that when we are going for the implementations of the setup, so definitely it's going to help us, and give you the desired output and the advantages as such over here in this one. So you can run on a Linux machine, or you can run it down to the you can run on the CMD prompt or the Git bash. It's almost the same. The only advantage we are going to get over here, because here also if I run the git version command, it's the same thing. And if I go for the normal git bash, sorry, normal git command line, so here also the same version is available. 2.35.1 version is available there, right? So we don't have much difference available, but the slight difference which is available in case of git bash is that you can fire up some Linux commands. For instance, like if you really need to execute some of the Linux commands, or that kind of executions you need to perform, so that's where we have the options and the possibility which is available there. For example, we can go ahead and fire up some Linux commands, lsfnrt, date commands. But it's not like you will be able to execute a lot of commands. There are some commands which may not be available there. So ping command is there, ssh command is also there, and then netstat command, that is also something which is available there. So a lot of commands is actually available, and we will be able to use it. So sudo command is not there, list of open files is not there, and it's not a complete Linux platform which has been given to you. Just a basic runtime is provided, so that you can utilize and you can use that, and you can implement it up over here in this one. So that's all what we are trying to do. We are trying to consider over here. But a lot of Linux commands will not work over here, and definitely that will not be accessible here. So certain Linux commands will be available, and this is the biggest benefit, because when you're working into your Windows machine, usually we don't get an access to the Linux commands, but this tool is capable, and it's actually helping us to see like how this implementation is really going to work, and it's going to give us some Linux commands. We can execute it, and we can proceed with that setup and the modifications all together. So that's a kind of implementation which we are trying to conduct over here in this case. right? Now, so let's see, let's get started with some of the Git commands to understand that how we're going to interact, and we're going to work with the Git commands over here so that we can get the setups and the desired output over here. Now, again, what is happening is that we will be just trying to see how the now implementations we are going to conduct here. So definitely in this one, we are just trying to see that how we're going to fire up or we're going to run the Git command so that we will be able to get the proper results and the proper setups here. So that's a kind of implementation we are going to proceed up over here in this scenario. So let's see, let's try to fire up some commands to see how these implementations are really going to work over here in this one. So here, yes, Sundarajan. So each and every day recording will be shared. For some reason, yesterday recording we were not able to share, but yes, along with today's recording, we will share it up to everyone, and you will be able to refer to that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Now, so what I was saying is that let's begin with the interaction, right? So that how it goes on there. So first of all, there might be a question which comes in your mind that we have got this particular tool here, and we have certainly got the specific GitHub which is available, and we have the Bitbucket also available there, and we have the GitLab, and there are like a lot of other options which is also available there, and we will be able to refer on that. Now the thing is that when we are working with this version control system, so Git is something which is like a kind of you can say like an open source tool which is available there, like something which you can refer. But Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, they are the enterprise tool, they are the pay tool. Yes, until a certain quota those tools are also free, but primarily if you're looking forward from your organization perspective, those tools will be paid, those tools will be enterprise tools there. So what's the like a kind of um, what's the kind of difference which we have got over here in this one? Because clearly in this case you can see that there is like an additional cost which is available there. Now the thing is that why this additional cost? Because Git traditional software is like open source, and we will be able to refer it up there. But the thing is that when it comes to the like costing, they are taking up that cost, they are taking up that particular value, because you need to understand that they are providing you a solution, they are providing you a kind of centralized location, like a central repo where you can go and you can store your source codes, and those is like your application code base as such there. So that's a kind of a location which is being provided, and which is being implemented over here. So yes, these tools, GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitLab, internally definitely uses the same Git software, but again, the Git software is free, it's open source, but these websites like GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitLab, they are actually charging from the customers in order to provide the Git repository hosting, in order to store the Git repositories. They are providing the so they are providing the cost, they are providing that, yes, we are going to provide an additional cost over here in order to provide, or in order to have the implementations conducted over here. So that's what we are trying to implement. Yeah, we are trying to consider here. So when it comes to the GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitLab, they are the enterprise tools. They are the tools or the source codes, the tools which is available there, which we can use. But internally, they are all going to use the same Git open source version control system here, right? So that's a kind of implementation which we are trying to conduct here. So that's basic stuff here, that if you deal or interact with the Git or GitHub, Bitbucket or GitLab, they're all the same software. They're all the same tools which is available there, right? So GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitLab, they're not charging for the Git software. They're actually charging you because they are providing you the storage mechanism. They are providing this GUI component. So these GUI interfaces are not provided by Git. They are provided by these softwares, and for that only they are asking for a additional cost from you, that yes, you have to put, or you have to provide this cost if you want to utilize, or if you want to use these different tools as such. So organizations' personal choice is depending on them, that which tool they want to refer. They want to go for the any of these tools available there. And in fact, all these three tools are very popular in the industry. A lot of big organizations I have interacted. I'm by myself using GitHub and Bitbucket in my organization. A lot of banks like US Bank itself is using the GitLab, and a lot of other organizations are also using the Git lab tool there. So there is no like a limitation that how many tools can actually use it, and plenty of them are actually using this, and according to that you can go ahead with that particular setup. Right, so let's see like how we're going to do it. So I will be covering up the GitHub there, but any other version control system we pick up, they are all almost like the same, only there is no major difference which we have got here. So what we will be doing is that we will be like working off, or we will be interacting with the particular Git here, GitHub here, so that we will be able to get the proper executions. Now pricing model is same almost, just $1 or $2 here and there is there. So I don't want to waste time on that. But yes, when you're going to work with this Git here, so there is some particular free tool which you're going to use. Like we are going to use the free account. I have a free account, and from a quite duration of time, like 6 to 7 years, I'm using this free account, and I'm not giving any kind of additional cost there. But if you at all go for a particular Teams account or kind of enterprise account, so in that case, you may have to put some additional cost in that, and you may have to provide that part. But definitely, at this moment of time, we don't have any particular additional cost over here in this one, and free is the account which you're going to use. We're going to refer here.
Anuj, Hari here. I have a query.
Yep.
So for this exercise, even we can also use GitLab, right? Because GitLab I have a leverage to use it. Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello.
I can hear you.
Yes. Yeah. So what I was saying is that what you were saying, that you have the leverage with.
I can use GitLab. So I have an partner account with GitLab, so I can use it.
It's okay. It's totally okay there, because what I was trying to specify here is that it doesn't really matter that which remote repository you're going to use, because your Git commands is going to remain the same only. Some of the GUI related features definitely they will be different, but until then, all the other features are almost the same only. So as of now, I'm just going with the GitHub here. But if you want to go for the GitLab, it's almost the same process. We don't have much difference as together in this one. So it's totally fine on that particular aspect.
Got it. Thanks.
Yep. Now, what I will be doing, like I already have an account here, so I don't have to create that GitHub account. And almost everyone nowadays are having the GitHub because GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, they are very, very popular things. One more thing I wanted to specify here that there is a reason that why everyone is talking about the Git, and they are not talking about uh, they are not like something which we are like using, because when we talk about Subversion or any of such tools, so they are not available just like GitHub or Bitbucket. So that's the reason why people did not got familiar with those tools. And because these GitHub, Bitbucket or GitLab, they are providing us a free solution that was immediately kind of like a new thing. And a lot of people, a lot of organizations love about that, because they it helped them to understand, because people like you and me, definitely we are not going to create a version control system by creating a virtual machine, or like we it's lacking there. So when I used to do my college projects, we used to create like a folders, and we were taking the backups on each and every folder. But if we could have this kind of feature at that time, we could have got a great benefits and advantages there. But now, since this tool is there, so definitely we can see like how these implementations we are going to do, and we are going to talk about over here in this one, right? So let's see how we are going to create a repository, because what we are going to do is that we are going to create an empty repository here. I already have a plenty of repository which is available, which is having all the ready-made source codes. But what I'm trying to do is that I'm going to create a new empty repository here. I will be uploading my source code to this empty repository, and that's how we will be able to get my results back here. So that's a kind of implementations we are going to conduct over here. So let's see like how it's going to happen, so that we will be able to get the proper results and the executions as such here. So again, in this one, what is happening that on the right hand side, there is an option that you want to create a new repository, like you want to create a new repository, you want to import a repository, you want to create a project, you want to create an organization. Now I'm using an individual accounts, which means like I cannot create the organization, I cannot create the projects or any kind of folder. But in your organizations, when you're going to implement, so in that case, you will be like creating a different kind of projects. As of now, I have an individual accounts, like a personal account where I can connect and I can do the implementations and the setup. But at your end, you will be like at the organizations, you will be having a single GitHub account, and using that account only, you will be creating the Git like Git repositories you will be creating, and then you will be firing up the commands and the executions there. So that's a kind of implementations which you will be like trying to conduct, trying to execute there. So let's see like how we are going to do. So first of all, we have to create an like a repository. Of course, this repository will be like an empty repository. We will not be having any kind of commits or changes inside that. And from our local system, we will be interacting, and we will be like doing the modifications over here, so that we will see like how we are going to perform that implementations and the setups here. So you see this plus symbol, and on top of that, you can say that new repository. If you want to import the repository from the other version control systems like the Subversion, Mercurial, TFS, if you want to perform that, so definitely that's a kind of implementation which we can do, so that we will be able to get the setup and the modifications here. So that's also a kind of modifications and changes which we are trying to conduct over here in this one. So right now we don't have any other version control system, so we will be creating a new repository here to see like how we are going to perform that repo creation here. Now there are two type of repos. One is a public and private. I guess these two type of like a specific category or two type of repos is pretty clear. Public, everyone will be having the access to that repo, and you will be exposing your source code to everyone. So that's a kind of problem, because then without even giving the access, everyone will have access. If you go to my account, if you visit my account, most of my repositories are public repositories. And the problem with that is that you will be like like you will be using that, you will be like going for that implementations, and you will be like giving the access to everyone there, so it's a bit risky. And anyone can actually access it and get along with that part here. So in order to avoid it, in order to like get rid of that, so definitely you need to go for a private repo. And the advantage of private repo is that you don't have to give like you will not be like worried about that. And only if you give the access, the person will be performing the changes to the repository, so which is like perfect in the organization setup, because in that case you are like expecting someone to give you access, and then only you're going to work on those codes on your repositories and contribute further. So private or public depends on you. I most of the time create the public repos, because in my in my personal account I have a lot of dummy codes available there, so I don't actually need or need to go for the private repo. So I wanted to share these codes with you also. So in that case, public is the perfect one for me. I can give any repo. For example, I can give a name, like a meaningful name over here, that yes, this is the implementation which we are going to conduct. We are going to create a repo with this name. And with this one, what we are trying to do is that we are just trying to see like what's the setup we are going to conduct over here in this one. So DevOps University is the one which we are going to talk about, so that we will be able to get the proper results and the executions here. And public or private repo, that depends on you. And then we will be just trying to see like how this possibility and the setup is available there. So again, going to create an empty repository, but if you want to add a README file, if you want to add a particular license file, or any kind of like these are the only options which is available there. We will be like also be able to add the files from the GUI, because that's a primary advantage which we get when it comes to the when it comes to the Git repositories here. But yes, we will be like creating an empty repository here, so we will not be like putting up anything. So I'm just going to create a repo. The moment you create a repo, so what will happen that first of all, you will be having an integration. Like if you are going for the GitHub desktop, then you can definitely go ahead and you can establish the connectivity that yes, you wanted to perform the activity using the Git here, using the Git desktop tool. You have the Git repository URL. That is also something which is available. So using that also, you can see like how the implementations are really going to work. And we also have a set of commands. If you can see here that there are a good amount of set of commands which is available there. So you can see there are three sections. The first section talks about that if you are going to create a repository from scratch. So this is the commands you're going to run. For example, if you can see here, the first command is that you are going to create a file called readme.md file, or any particular file. You can use the echo commands. This is just a Linux command using which we are conducting it. You may also run any kind of typical Linux command. You may copy the files or folders from a different resource, from a different source. So all we need is like we need just a set of files and folders over here, so that we will be able to like contribute, or we will be able to add those into the version control system. So that's all what we needed to perform here. So there are some commands like git init, git add, commit. So we will be like talking about these commands here, like in detail, that what's the purpose over here. But here the only command which is available is to initialize a git repository, like a new empty repository, like a local repository, if you want to create, or if you want to generate. So then we are going to talk about, or we are going to consider it as a Git repository. So get init is the command, is the basic command using which you will be able to create a, a new local repository there. So it will not be having any source code, but yes, a local repository will be created here. So this one is something which we will be able to use so that we can perform the creations and the setups here. So let's see like how we're going to do that. So also with the echo command, it's asking me to create a readme.md file, which is again my choice. If you don't want to create it up using the echo command or using a vi or any other command, you feel like you want to create the file, that is also like something you can do. You can conduct and you can get the desired output here. But again, it totally depends. If you have an existing repository, like a local repository is already available there, then definitely you can just go ahead and you can perform the setup that this is the existing repo which we are trying to put it up, or we are going to move it up to the remote repository here. So that's a kind of implementation. And last one is like if you don't have the access to the source code, you have the source code available into a different repository, then you can perform an import also, so that you can have the source code imported it up into the local into your GitHub or this repository over here in this one. So that's also a kind of implementation which we are going to conduct over here. All right, now so here what we will be doing, let's fire up the command git init. So these commands, we are going to use it up as a reference so that we will be able to work it off there. Again, guys, this is not something that, like this is just a one-time activity, like maybe a kind of initial step which we are trying to do. But later on, you will not be conducting anything over here. So later on, you will be performing the git clone command, which like I will also be explaining you that how we are going to work it off there. But yes, that's this is just an implementations which we are trying to specify here. So we will be just starting up from I can also do a git clone, and like this whole repo will come up to me to my local system. But right now this is an empty repository, so you have to follow this process only over here in this one if you wanted to get the desired output here. So git init is the first command we are going to run, and once that is done, what will happen that you will be able to uh, sorry. So the command you're going to run is like git init command. So what this command will do, this will basically give me a kind of it will initialize me a kind of empty git repository. So you can see here that the response also we are getting that it's going to give me a particular like empty git repository. So that's what we have got over here. And this is something which is having the empty repository. So we will be like working off with that, and we will be like contributing to that stuff over here in this one. Right now, once we got that particular git repository, so you will see like there is like a dot git folder which is like going to be available over here. And definitely that's something which is going to help me to show like how the implementation is going to work. And we will be like getting the possibilities and the setups here. So .git is the folder. It's going to get created automatically, but the thing is that this folder you should not be touching upon. We will not be doing anything to this folder. This folder is simply available there where like using the git commands only, we will be interacting with this with this particular directory. So whatever the git commands we're going to do, so that's a kind of like a kind of implementation we are doing here. So the .git folder automatically gets created the moment you're going to run the git init command, and that's the one value which we will be able to get it up over here. And it's something which is very important because ultimately using this one we will be able to see like how the implementation is really going to work here. Now you can do like whatever the git commands you feel like you want to fire upon, you will be able to do, and you will be able to implement over here in this one. So that's a kind of implementation which we are going to conduct over here. All right, now next command is git status command. If you see, if you run the git status command, so it will actually show you the status of your current git repository. So right now it's an empty repository, so you don't have anything available here. So you're not getting any kind of a response that what's the composition of the content which is available here in this case, right? So we will be like performing some comments and some changes over here, and then only we will be like going up with this one. But right now at this moment of time it's just an empty repository, so we don't have got anything available over here, and just like a kind of empty repository altogether. All right, so what we will be doing is that we will be like doing some kind of modifications, like some kind of setup is what we are trying to do, so that we will be able to get the proper results here. So here I can like you can have some files created over here. Maybe you can just manually go and place these files, or maybe you can just write some files over here in this one. So using the echo command also, let's say if I'm going to add up a sample file. Using a echo command also, we can fundamentally go and we can create a readme.txt file. So that's also like something we can conduct. We can execute it here. And the thing is that when we are going for this file creation here, so what is happening is that this readme.txt file is something which is just a kind of a dummy file which we have created. If you want to bring in some source code or something like that, you can do that also. It's completely up to you that how the implementations you're going to do, and you're going to get it up over here, right? So we just need files and folders to be present. How you're going to create it, that's completely up to you, and you will be like taking care of that particular setup as such here. So we have got like a readme.txt file, which is like a dummy file which we are trying to create over here. But yes, you can have any file created. If you feel like you want to create some folders or something like that, even that is also something which is possible, and you will be getting it up over here in this case. So that's a kind of implementations which we are going to conduct over here. Now, once you got the file here, if you run the git status command, so it's going to show you the file that yes, this is an untried file. If you clearly see the output of git status command, it shows that you have a kind of untried file which is available there. Now, what is the untried file? Any file which is like created for the first time and it's not a part of the version control system is known as the untried file. So whenever you work with any version control system and you try to add up a file which is not already an existing file in the version control system. So then in that case, we will be just trying to see like how these implementations we are going to conduct. And we will be like seeing a readme.txt file available over here. And this file is something which we will be just referring or we will be using so that we can start out with the basic command there. So you want to start with some another git command, that's completely up to you. So you can have any files created, 1 2 5 6 7, whatever the amount of files you want to create, you can have it up over here. So that's a kind of advantage which we are going to get over here in this case. Now again, once this particular file which we have got over here, so what we will be doing is that we will be adding up into the version control system. If you see the output itself, like a git status output itself, so it says use the command git add in order to include what you really wanted to commit over here. So you really wanted to go ahead and you want to include this file. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to add this file to a version control system. So we have a command called git add over here. Now, this is because this is just a one-time activity we are doing. Of course, I will show you like the exact steps that when you're going to perform the incremental changes, so how you're going to conduct that. So even that is also something which we are going to talk about. We are going to consider here. So step by step, both the understanding we are going to perform over here in this one. So git add. If you want to do a single file, then you can do git add readme.txt file, git add sample.txt file, or any command you feel like you want to execute or any file you want to add, you can do that. If you want to use a wildcard characters, you can do the wildcard characters. For example, irrespective of the extension, we want go for readme star, or if you want to go for the star.txt, or whatever the pattern you're going to decide, whatever the files you want to add up. So definitely that's what you can do. You can specify here so that we will be able to proceed further and we will be able to do the modifications here. So readme.txt file is something which is available, and we will be just trying to see like how these implementations we're going to do, and we will be like performing those changes as such here. All right, now so once you do the add here, so this is just a static symbol. If you want to add every file and folder in the current directory or maybe in the subdirectory, if you want to do that kind of approach, so what you're going to do is that you're going to just fire up like this git add dot command, and with this one what will happen that you will be able to go ahead with the adding up all the files into the version control system here. So git add command is what we're going to run. Forget about this warning, guys, because this warning you will be able to get only in case of the Windows machine. In case of Git Bash, if you're going to run these commands on a Git on a Linux platform, you're not going to get this error. This error is because of the fact that in the backend or on the particular laptop here, we have a Windows operating system, but you're using the Git Bash to fire up the Git command. So a Linux to Windows comparison is actually happening on some of the characters, but you don't lose your file. So you will still have the particular access to the file over here in this one. All right. So git add dot command is something which is available, using which we will be able to add up a particular, like a kind of, we will be able to add up a one or multiple files over here in this one, and that's what we will be like able to implement it up here. right? Now, so once you add the file into the version control system, like again, it's a one-time activity. So the incremental changes regarding that also I will explain you. But yes, right now it's just a one-time activity which we are trying to do here, that we have got like this particular setup. So we have got forget about the color encoding also, because when you're going to work in different platforms, these color encoding may not be may not be a perfect thing, but just go through the output so that you will be able to see like how the implementations is going to work it up over here in this case. So when you're going to work with this one, when you're going to see that there is a new file which is available there. So this new file represents that there is a readme.txt file which is available, and how we got, like, we ran the git add command, and then only this file we got it up into the version control system here, and the git status command is itself showing you that yes, this is a file which is available there. Now, further on, if you feel like you want to preserve these changes permanently, like you want to store, so then you have to do the git commit command here. So git commit is the command which you have to do. You have to execute so that you will be able to preserve your changes permanently over here in this one. So you have to perform those setup here. So the next command, because after git add command, commit is important. So what is a git commit command? So git commit command is fundamentally going to explain you that what's the purpose of this changes, and also before the commit, the changes will not be preserved, or will not be stored permanently into the version control system here. So only when you go and perform the git commit command, then only these changes will be permanently preserved, permanently stored up into the version control system or into the git history. So till that particular point, the changes will not be preserved. Also, commit activity will help you to preserve or store your changes permanently in the version control system, and at the same time it will also explain you that what is the reason behind the changes, what are the different changes you have done, and even the author details of the person you have done the changes. That is also something which we will be able to record it up here. And this change this details will be always preserved into your version control system, and it will not be lost there. So every time, like, it will be always be available into your version control system. So that's the biggest benefit, because one of the reason why we are going for the version control system is to have an access to this the different versions and the different histories, so that when you work, or whenever you work it off with this version control system, you should be able to go ahead and you should be able to work or store these changes permanently. So like 1 year back, or 1 year 2 years later on down the line, if you still see you wanted to refer, or you want to work with the version control system, so this is just a way, that this is just an implementation which we are trying to conduct over here, so that we can get the proper setups and executions. Right now, so git commit. Now before the git commit, you have two commands. The of author details. So author details is very important. We have to provide a reason that who is the author of the details. So git config hyphen global is the command using which now why we are having this one, because see, let's say I'm saying that I'm a developer, and whatever the changes I'm going to do, my changes or my like information should be preserved, should be available there, right? So that's a basic requirement we want to conduct. Now when you're going to do it for the first time, how git will know that what's your details, what your username, what's your password. We will not be able to get those informations and those details there, because the problem with that is when you're going to require those informations are not preserved into your file system or maybe into your server. So you have to specify them, you have to specify those details, and then only it's going to work, and we will be able to get the proper results here. So for this one we have the command called git config, and you have a git config command hyphen global user dot name. So we are specifying that what's the username. So for example, you can see my name is coming up over here, and then we are trying to provide git config hyphen global. So in that case, we are going for the global, like a setup, global modifications. And in that case, we are setting up an email ID that this is the email ID which we are trying to configure, and we are trying to consider it up here. So that's also a setup which we are trying to specify. Now, why this is important? This is important because when you're going to work as a developer, you should be setting up your personal details, your the office username and password, so that git should be able to store this information. Because if I'm going to run these commands, right, so whenever I'm going to perform a commit activity, these details will be stored over there. So I will show you. Right now I already have a particular, if I run the git status command, I already have got a new file available there, which is still available into my local, into my working directory. I have to perform a commit, because then only we will be able to move, or we will be able to have these files into into my local repository here. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to specify here. So what we will be doing is that we will be going for the command called git commit hyphen m. Hyphen f is the commit message. If for some reason you don't give any like a proper message, or if you give an empty commit message, the commit activity will not be conducted. So it will always look forward for a particular valid or a basic commit message here, and then only it's going to work for you. And that's what we are trying to specify here. So here git commit hyphen m, and m is for the commit message, and we are saying like first commit here. And with this one, what will happen? Your file, nothing will be available in the git status command, because whatever the changes were present, they all got preserved, they all got committed over here. And commit is not a normal activity. It actually helps us to have these changes, whatever the changes we were trying to apply. So these changes will be implemented or stored in the git repository permanently and completely, and we will be able to get the proper results and the benefits here. So right now I did run the git commit, like a hyphen m, and those options we provided, so that we will be able to see like how these implementations are really going to work, and we will be able to get the desired output here. All right. So once the commit is done, so you would be able to see that the git status command. is not showing anything because the changes has already been preserved, has already been committed here. So you will not be able to see those details here. But is there any mechanism where we can find out that whatever the commits we have done, can we can we work with that? Can we find out that history? Because we are trying to understand that the whole purpose why we are using the Git is because we wanted to have some some versioning maintained over here. So whatever the changes we are trying to do, we will be getting those options and the modifications here. So definitely that's a kind of implementations which we are trying to conduct. We are trying to execute here. So for this one, what we will be doing is that there is a command called git log. So git log gives you the history of your Git repository. It doesn't really matter. I have a repository which is available into my GitHub account, which is 15 years old from 2007, 2008. That kind of history is pretty much available there. And we have got a very old repos, and it's not like over the period of time, after some time the commits or the history will be deleted. The history will be available there. If you want to go to the very first commit, or you want to go to the oldest commit, all those possibilities will be available. And we will be having those stuffs as such on that particular part. So we have definitely got a lot of history which is going to be available here, which we can refer all together. Right. So if you can see that we are going for the git log command, and when you are firing up the git log command here, so you can clearly see that you get a commit ID randomly. You don't have any control on that. It's a complete random commit ID which is given to you. It's You're going to have a head pointer which points to the current branch. So master is the current branch which is available there. So whenever you create your repository, the very first branch which gets created is the master branch. So master or main branch, those are the like a primary branch which gets created the moment you create a new repository, and that's what you can see over here in this one. And you can also see the author details, like my name is available. So whatever the email ID and username we are going to provide, so according to that it will provide those details, that these are the different details which we have got over here in this one. So that's fundamentally the primary benefit which you're going to get over here, right? And we're also getting the timestamp, that this is the timestamp which is available there, like 27th. Like just now I have done this commit, so a proper timestamp will also be provided. So even maybe in down the line, if you feel like you want to visit your repository, you want to see when the commits were done, when the changes were performed there, so all that stuff and the implementations you will be able to do, and you will be able to implement over here in this one. So that's a kind of advantage which you're going to get over here in this case. Comment message will also be available here. So that is also something which you will be able to specify here. So these are the different advantages which we are going to we are going to perform over here, so that we will be able to get the proper results and the proper executions right over here. All right. So uh, yes, Stephen, we will talk about that, how we can remove some files from the version control system, and how we are going to conduct it and perform it up here. So I'll explain you. And Stephen, if it's more than one files we have to add, or more than one files we need to remove, so we will talk about all those possibilities, and you will get that understanding. So let's wait for some couple of minutes. You will be able to get your desired output there.
right now. So let's go for the break, guys, and then we'll continue further. So we will be moving these files because all the activities which we are doing right now, it's just locally only. So we'll talk about that remote setup also in this one. So let's wait for that. Everyone back, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So again, so far we have talked about it how like we are going to work over there. So just a basic things which you have done. Now, apart from the commits, there are a lot of activities which we can conduct and we can execute over here. So I'll talk about that stuff. For example, right now we just add up uh, drop like only one file, but we will be like adding up some couple of more files over here. Of course, they will be like it's your choice whether you want to have some like a basic files you want to add, or you want to add some like some dummy files. It's completely up to you. So we will be adding up multiple files here. Last time we did the like we added up only one single file, but before adding up multiple files, just wanted to explain you over here is that, for example, you are asking about that if there is a requirements that let's say that you have to do the changes, like for example you have to like do some incremental changes to the files, because like I said that it's not every time your file will be like modified or something like that. So for example, sometimes we may have to see like how the setups we are going to conduct, and we have to talk about that stuff. So what we will be doing over here is that we will be just trying to see some of the possibilities, some of the setups which we are trying to conduct over here. So let's say we have this file, a readme file. So using a vi command, or maybe from my local system, I can fundamentally do some changes, some modifications over here. So you want to do the changes, or you want to perform your modification. So that's what you can try. You can perform it up over here. So we can do the changes. I have the file content here, so I can say additional content into file. Now, like you're just trying to add up a file there, like a additional content you're going to add on top of the previous file. And I'm just trying to explain you that what you need to do, or how you're going to deal with the incremental changes, like maybe in future when you're going to go and perform some new changes to the files, some new modifications you have to conduct. So what's the steps, what's the process you have to do, you have to perform here. So clearly what you can see here that there is an additional content which we have added over here, so that we will be able to see like how the implementations we are going to talk about here. So that's a kind of a setup which we are going to do, so that we will be able to get the proper results and the executions here. So I'm going to save this file. The content of readme file will be like this is the additional piece of file content which we have done here. So git status command, git add readme.txt file. The file will be added up here. The same command which we ran, the similar thing we have to conduct over here. So whatever the changes you're going to do to the file, whenever you're going to go and perform some modifications and changes, so after that all you have to do is that you have to just go and perform the git add command, and then ultimately git commit command, so that you will be able to get the proper setups and the executions here. So that's a kind of implementations which you're going to conduct over here, and you can clearly see that after this setup, after you do the git commit command, you are actually getting the proper commits done here. If you again run the git status command, you will not be able to find out any particular changes pending available here, which means whatever the changes were there, so that's something which got resolved, which got committed perfectly, completely over here in this one. So that's a kind of response which we have got over here in this case, right? So this is the this is a sequence of commands which we have to fire up if at all you are doing some incremental changes to your files, to your source code. So then in that case you have to run the git add and commit command, and similar kind of this response will be coming to you, so you will be able to get the desired output accordingly here. So it's not like only because you are just adding up the file for this first time you're going to run those commands. Even if you're doing some incremental changes, the same set of commands you have to repeat and you have to do it. Now in case you have more than one file, technically this is just in another folder available into my local directory. So here I have a readme.txt file. So let's say I may add some additional code base here. If I have maybe having some source codes available. So whatever the projects you're going to work, the source codes you're going to work, so you have to get those source codes, and so we have some source codes let's say this is an HTML code which is available there, right? So if I can, right? So standard source code is available there. So we will be just trying to see how this source code really works. So let's say we wanted to add it up or we want to include this overall source code into my git repository. So just a sample source code you want to pick up, you can do it. I am just going to copy this one, and I'm just going to store it up in this directory here. So this is my basic directory which we are going to process. We are going to store it up over here. So just randomly I have downloaded my application code, because when you're going to start for the first time you have to do the same thing, because you might be having these source codes being developed into your local system, and you have to store it up into the git repository. So I have got my source code, and that's what I'm trying to include. I'm trying to set it up over here in this one, in this directory, that this is the kind of modifications which we are going to conduct, we are going to execute here. So a couple of files I have got over here, and I'm going to include these ones into my into my system altogether over here in this case. So now instead of one file, you can see there are some couple of files which I've got over here. And in fact, when you run the git status command back over here, you would see a huge amount of files and folders are being listed out over here. Now, and last time when we added up, one file, so in that case, we ran git add and readme.txt file, or whatever the file you're going to include in the particular version control system. So we fired up, or we executed that command. But now what we are going to do is that we are going to include, or we're going to have all these different files which we can see over here. So we are going to have it up into our particular version control system, and that's what we are going to refer, we are going to execute here. So what we will be conducting is that we will be performing git add dot here. So when you want to deal with the multiple files, you could go for the static symbols, like you can go for the wildcard characters also. But uh, what we will be like performing over here is that we will be like including all these files and folders into my version control system. So that's why we are doing it. For an incremental changes, I have already explained you that you can perform the setup and the executions. So definitely that's kind of changes which you can conduct. But this is a different type of stuff where we are trying to specify that how differently we wanted to do this, and we will be definitely including all these files and folders into my version control system with the help of git add dot command here. Like I have already told you that this warning is something we can ignore because due to like a Windows platform in the backend, that's why this response is coming up there. So there is just some conversion of characters which is happening, but nothing else. So you don't have to worry about this. Is just a kind of a warning which is available over here in this case. All right. And with this one, what will happen? So ultimately, when you run the git status command, you will see like there are a lot of files which is available there, because fundamentally fonts, images, CSS, they also further on have a lot of files which is available in this subfolder, and that's what we are trying to see. We are trying to implement that how we're going to use this one, so that we will be able to get the implementations and the setups as such here. So that's a kind of implementation which we're going to do here. So git add dot command will fundamentally be adding up all like multiple files into your version control system, so that we will be able to go ahead with that particular setup and the configurations. What next you have to do? Importing source code. So whatever the source code you're going to work, so you are like developing into your Eclipse or Notepad or any kind of Visual Studio Code or any kind of a tool. If you're working on some changes, some code bases, so what you will be doing is that you will be like importing or storing that source code into this current directory. So wherever you have got that particular like a git a repository initialized, so you will be like going up with that, and what you will be conducting is that you will be like doing the comments. You will be adding those files into the version control system, and as you can see here that you have also got like the things being listed out into the version control system, that yes, these are the different like a kind of commits which we have got into my repository as such here. So that's a complete details which we are going to get over here, so that we will be able to get the proper results and the proper executions all together. All right. Now, so a complete history will be available there. You can certainly see that there are some particular history, because right now this history is about only for a couple of minutes, but if you have a particular a repository for 5 years, 10 years, still you will be able to refer that, and you will be able to reach out to that level. So you don't have to wait for like only for a certain time duration. So git is quite reliable, and it can handle any particular like kind of time duration, or whatever the commits you have got. So for any kind of a duration of time you can actually have, or you can use this particular option here. So it's something which is definitely available, and we can utilize that. So all these different commits we have got, and we will be just like going up and see like how these implementations are really going to work it off over here in this case. Anyone having any doubt so far? Yes, Chan. So definitely we will talk about that also. Now, once we have got these things, so let me explain you that how we're going to remove some files. Now technically you might think that we can run some rm command, and we can physically go to this directory and we can remove the files, but not necessarily. We are not going to do that way, because Git is saying that if you're going to add the file using Git, like for example git add command, you're going to run to add the file to the Git version control system. So if you do that, so then in the same way you have to perform the git remove also. So if you're going to use the git command to add it, so you also use the like a kind of a remote command, a remote command, a remove command over here, so to get that particular task conducted and get the executions performed there. So we have the git rm command which is available there. So here git rm, let's say if you're going for services.html, or any particular file you feel like you want to remove from the particular version control system, so you can fire up or you can execute the git rm command over here, so that you will be able to perform the you can remove the files from the version control system. It's not like you can go and you can do some delete activity and your file will be removed and deleted. No, we are not going to perform that way. So eventually, if you are going to add the file using git, you have to remove it also with the help of git here, and that's what we are trying to do. So git rm is the fundamental command using which we will be able to remove a file from my version control system here. So here, yes, Stephen. So we just ran the. I just moved in some couple of files, from a different repository. I was having some HTML code, so I just included that into my current Git repository. And after that, I just ran the git add command and git. You can see here that I just ran the git add command, and I just put some files into this directory, and I just included some files, and then I just added up these are the different files which was available. After that, I ran the git add command, and then I performed the git commit command. So I actually got all these files preserved and being created up into my version control system here. So you can see like we have done, or we have got a new commit created over here, which is like having all these different changes all together over here in this case. So this is what we have done here. Now, Deco, definitely, I'll explain you that once whatever the changes or files we are adding up into our particular local repo. So how we are going to move it up to the remote repository. So that operations I'm going to definitely talk about here. And Chan, definitely revert or the update or some changes if you feel. So I will explain you that stuff also to get that things there. So definitely that's what we are trying to implement. So let's say that if I wanted to remove some, like using the git rm command, we wanted to remove some files. That's what we are trying to do. We are trying to execute here. Now git rm and no file name is something which is a kind of a manual task, because again one by one you will be conducting or you will be executing this one. So we definitely don't want to go for this kind of process, because if it's like one or two files, so still this command is perfect for you, and you will be able to remove the files. But let's say you have a more number of files available, like 5 files, like you want to remove all the files which is coming up. Let's say that you can find out that there are these many files of these are the different HTML files which we have got here, and we really wanted to remove this. So we can use the static symbols like a star, statics is what you can use over here, so that we will be able to define that yes, we wanted to go ahead and we wanted to move it up over here. So that's a kind of implementations which we are trying to conduct over here in this one. So what we will be doing is that we will be like performing some kind of a setup and execution, so that we will be able to get the desired output here. So here, let's say there is like two files with the blog.html and blogspot.html. So we wanted to remove it. So let's say git rm blog.html. So let's say if I wanted to remove two files, so what will happen that automatically these two files will come into the like a deleted status. So even like whether you are adding up a file or you're going to delete a file, so in both the cases, what is going to happen is that you will be like taking care of the you're taking care of this setup. So in this case, what will be happening that whatever the static symbols you're going to provide, according to that, those things will be added up, will be included up into the particular git repository here, and that's what you can specify, and you can execute it up here. So git status command, as you can see that both the files, with the blog.html or blog post.html, it's like being, like these changes are being preserved, that we wanted to remove these files from our particular version control system here. So that's what we are trying to specify here. So you can see both the particular file changes are recorded, and we will be like ultimately going for the removal here. And how we are going to remove it? So we are going to remove it by git removing blog files. And you will see like definitely there is no files with the blog.html or blog post.html. But the thing is that although we have removed that file, but still what's going to happen is that we will be like having the details. We will be having the particular details about this specific changes which we have conducted. So into our history, like in fact into like when I'm going to run the git log command, I will be able to see that into my history that it's referring that my changes has been conducted here. All right, so this is the way that how one or multiple files we can remove, we can get it removed completely from our version control system here. So whatever the files you want to remove or you want to add, run the git add command on top of that, and then either go for the commit command activities. You will be able to get the desired outputs accordingly. Stephen, when I add up some files, so you are correct that you see those files listed up into the red color. So if you want to include in the version control system, then you can fire up or you can run the git add command. If you want to not include those into the like version control system, you can just run the normal rm command, or you can go into the file system. You can go to the the folder and remove that file manually. So that is also like something which you can conduct there. So it's just a normal file. So only if you have the file available into the version control system, then you're going to run the git rm command. But if it's like a normal file, you have additional have it up into your version control system in that working directory, so you can just delete it just like any file you're deleting. So maybe through the folder, or maybe run the rm command to remove that file. So that's a kind of a process we have to execute over here. So whatever files you feel like you want to include, you can run the git add command on top of that. And those files you don't want to add into the particular version control system, you can just manually go and remove it. You don't have to run the git add command as such there. All right, now great. Now my git history is pretty much helping me out and giving me that all these details are available there. Right, now let's see, now let's talk about that how we can like go ahead with the further things. For example, uh, if there are like a lot of other activities, because right now we just saw that how we can remove some files from my version control system. Let's come to a point where, let's say, you did some changes, like you forgot, like what you did, the modifications. You wanted to do like the comment a little bit different. Maybe you missed out some changes. So let's see, let's talk about that stuff. So first of all, I'm going to help you to understand that how we can roll back. For example, I did ran this last commit, and I removed some block files. So that's kind of changes which I have done. Now after some time, you felt that like these changes are not something which you're trying to do, right? So definitely, like now consider that these changes you have done mistakenly and you want to roll back. So in that scenario, what you're going to do is that you have to do a very, very simple task, very simple activity you have to do. You have to execute over here, so that we can get the proper results and the proper executions here. So we have to perform the a rollback here, so that we will be able to get whatever the changes you have done, that will be simply rolled back, and we will be able to get the proper executions and the results here. So the command is, for example, this is the now this command you can run with any commit into your version control system. There is no limitation that only the latest commit you can do, but any commit into your version control system you can roll back. Now what is the git reward command is doing? Git reward command is doing very simple basic stuff. So it's saying that when I'm going to work with this process or this task here, so whatever the changes are being done in this commit, that will be simply rolled back. So which means that as part of this as part of this commit activity, what I performed is like I removed blog.html, blog-post.html. So these are the two files which I removed as part of this commit. Now if I'm doing the rollback activity, like if I'm trying to perform a rollback activity over here, so what we are going to do is that we are going to whatever the task has been done is being conducted in that commit, that will be simply rolled back. So which also means that in this case you will see that the two files, blog.html and blog-post.html, that will be simply added up back into my version control system. So we will be able to recover those files back over here in this case. Yes, in the previous commit, I removed those files from my version control system. But when I'm saying that, yes, I'm going to do the revert activity over here, I'm going to perform a rollback or revert activity. So whatever the changes done in my last commit will be simply rolled back and reverted, and I will be able to get those files back. If I have deleted, I will get the files back there. If I have added the files, then those files will be removed once I do the git revert command here. So this is just a kind of a rollback activity we are going to do over here, so that we can get the desired output. So when I do the git revert and this commit ID, automatically it's saying that yes, this is going to like this will revert the removing block files, and this commit will reverse this commit ID. So that complete relationship will be drawn over here. It will give you a complete details that you are actually trying to perform a rollback here. So that's a kind of process which you are trying to specify over here, so that you will be able to get the proper executions and the proper setups here, right? And what's going to happen is that because in the last commit you removed the files, so you will be able to recover your particular files back over here in this one. So that's what it's going to happen it up for you. So let's see. So we will be like performing this activity. See, this was my last commit. When we did the rollback activity, there is a new entry of my history into my git history that yes, at this point you have done a rollback, you have reverted some commit. So that piece of information is also what you're trying to get over here in this one. And once you got that information, very easily you will be able to identify that yes, you have got your particular files back over here in this one. And you can clearly see that yes, the blog .html and blog -post.html, these two files were like deleted by us, but again we have got these two files back over here in this one. All right, so both the files are again back into my version control system. So by mistakenly, if at any moment of time you feel like there are some commits which is being conducted, there are some changes which you have done, and those changes are like not perfect, or they are not working as expected. So in that case, you can just simply go and perform this kind of activity, and you whatever the changes you have done in a specific commit, that will be simply rolled back. So this could be a good opportunity also, because developers are not going to open the file and manually do the rollback of the changes. So the developers are going to automatically go and say that okay, whatever the changes were done, which is recorded into my version control system, simply roll back those, and automatically it should happen there. So we are not going to perform this activity manually. In fact, we are going to like perform this particular task automatically over here in this case, and that's what we are trying to consider. We are trying to set it up over here in this one. Right now, no, Gallardo, I have already specified that when I say that git revert and commit ID, it's not, I have definitely showed you on the, like a latest commit, but it's not like that. So, which is like fundamentally, the thing is that any commit you can, you can roll back, and you will be able to get that particular stuff done there, right? So that's the difference which we have got over here in this one. So definitely what is happening is that uh, any commit you can pick it up from the version control system, and you can refer it, and you can work it off with that part here. All right, now, so let me do some changes. Let's say you perform some changes to the readme.txt file, and you added up some changes saying that okay, so third line we are going to say adding content to show git commit update process. So let's say like I have got this, like this changes. I have performed some changes to the file. Just a normal, changes is what we are trying to perform. We are trying to execute here. So git add readme and git commit command like manage to content. Right. So after the revert, I have just done an additional content over here, right? So I have performed there. But once you are done with the changes, so after that you got to know like these are not the correct changes. I mean, you checked your readme.txt file and you felt right, okay, it was like something which is meant to we were like expecting to have like right. So this readme.txt file which we were having, like it's something where we added up some files, like we included some files there, but again we felt that the changes are not complete, and we still have some changes presently to be done, to be achieved. So in that case what we will be doing is that we will be like performing some of the like other activities we will be doing. So what we will be conducting is that, let's say we were meant to add or include two lines, but what we did is like we actually like included only single one single file here. So that's what we have included. So now unfortunately I have to do another commit, and I have to perform that activity. But again, if we don't want to do that, if we don't want to conduct that kind of activity, so what we will be doing is that we will be following something different. So we will be like doing some update to my last commit. So there is a possibility that if by mistakenly you have done some commit and you wanted to include some files, or you wanted to like do some specific changes to the file, or new files you want to add, old files you want to add. So in that situation what we can do is that we can fundamentally see like how we are going to perform the overall setup and the execution here. So that's what we're going to do. So in this case, let's say because git status command, no file is available, so I'm going to add the file changes to show commit update. So I have included a new changes over here. Git status command git add readme.txt file. Now, after that, I'm going to take a decision that whether I want to do a new commit, or I want to update into my previous commit itself. So you have two choices, because what happens when we are like continuously going to try out some changes. So, rather than doing more and more commits again and again, we sometimes prefer to go and update the last commit itself, so that we don't get a huge amount of commits you know into our version control system. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to specify here. So what we will be doing over here in this one is like we will be like running the git add readme.txt file. So that's like something which we have performed over here. And after this, what we will be doing is that we will be like performing some a different task, and we will be like performing the proper executions over here in this scenario. So After this one, we will be performing git commit hyphen amend. So if like but of course you have to run the git add command, whatever changes, whether it's like you are adding up a new file, you are doing some changes to an existing file, you are removing any file, or whatever the task you're going to conduct. So for that part, what you have to do is that you have to just add up into the version control system using the git add command. You're going to do it and keep it ready over there. And after that only, you have to run the git commit hyphen fn append, because what you're going to do is that you're going to just uh, you're going to just get the previous commit, and whatever the changes you have done in the previous commit, you're just going to perform, or you're going to just change to that particular commit here. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to execute here. So git commit hyphen fn append is something which is going to pick, or it's going to get the like a previous changes, and in the previous commit itself, it will help you to get the proper executions conducted there. So that's what we are trying to do here. It will open this one into the vi mode, the same commit message. You're going to close it without any changes, and what will happen, do you see any commit here? Like, do you see any additional commit when you did the last commit, like additional content? No, right? So if at any moment of time by mistakenly you missed out some changes and you want to do that, so this is how you're going to do that, and you're going to get that particular setup. You're going to perform this particular modifications or the changes back over here in this one. So very easily we went on and we performed that activity, and we got that particular results back over here in this one. So we did some changes, we added some additional content, and with this one, what happened, you got the results back, and you got the particular functionalities back over here in this one. So that's a kind of implementations which we are going to conduct, and you're going to get those results back over here in this case. So git status command will definitely help you to show you that there is no changes left out, and with the help of git commit hyphen fn append, you will be able to get the results, and you will be able to have the changes done to the last commit over here. So that's a kind of implementation which we are going to conduct over here in this one. Right? So git commit hyphen fn append is something using which we will be able to perform the changes to the last commit which has been done there. But before that, you should be having your changes stored into your git repository, so that when you run the git commit hyphen fn append, so those changes should be picked up, and we should be able to get the proper results as such here. Right? So anyone having any doubts so far? Yeah, when you do the git commit hyphen fn append, right? So you can change the message, right? You can see like, okay, changed additional content. You will see like the commit message is also going to be changed. So not only that, because the commit message is fine, like, that's a natural thing which you may feel like we want to change. But apart from them, if you have got like new changes, even that is also like something which we can get included over here in this one. So that's a kind of advantages which you're going to get over here. No, fundamentally, we are actually using it up for the latest commit because then only we will be able to see like how the execution is done. So because it's not like after like a specific 2 months you're going to get this done. So definitely that's not a kind of approach we will be doing also. So it's like only one time, like initially you may be doing this stuff and getting the executions back here. So, all these things, all these activities we have pretty much done here. Now, one more thing we wanted to do, for example, at any moment of time, let's say you did git rm star, like star.html, or, by mistakenly some changes you have done, and, you have not got those committed yet, but by mistakenly you have done that, and you have done the changes, you have done the file adding of the files, or maybe like some kind of modifications to the files. So any kind of activities you have done in the git repository, and by mistakenly that is something which has happened for you. Now, how you're going to do a rollback? Because see, git revert command is something which is going to work only when like you have the git come kind of completely performed there. So git commit when you have got. So definitely in that case you have like git revert command available, because you're just trying to roll back a specific commit. But in this case, you are following something different. You are actually trying to conduct something different over here. So you are primary, going to perform a particular rollback over here. So that's the commit you have done. So we just wanted to see like how we are going to perform a rollback so that we can get the proper results and the executions as such here. So in this one, we will be like and have a quick mechanism, because I just want to do a rollback before the commit itself. So we have a command called git reset hyphen hard. Now, fundamentally, this command is something which is going to perform a reset here. So whatever the changes we have got, or whatever the changes, you can see over here. So it's like something which is going to perform a complete reset, and those temporary changes which you have got into your git repository, that will be like reverted, because we don't need those changes, and we really wanted to remove those into our particular local repository here. So if you are okay with those changes, we can go for git add command, and definitely git commit command we will be conducting. But at this moment of time, we don't need this one, and that's the reason why we don't want to proceed with this particular setup as such here. right, now, so far, whatever the activity we are like performing over here, so this is like something which is happening like locally only. So all these activities so far, it's just a local activity we have done. So what we will be conducting is that we will be like proceeding, or we will be performing a different process. So we are going to move these changes from our local repo to the remote repository. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to specify over here, so that we will be able to get the proper results and the execution here. So let's see like how fundamentally we are going to do, or we are going to talk about over here, so that we will be able to get the results back over here in this one. So that's what we are going to talk about. We are going to consider here. So let's see. Branching and all deco, we will talk about that, right? So right now I'm just trying to push this source code to my report repository here. So coming back to the screen, so we actually had like a git commit commands and git init. All these different commands we have already executed like multiple times. Like this is something which we are, like pretty much doing it up, for a quite duration of time. So what the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to, really push these changes from my local to a remote repository. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to execute here. So for this one, what we will be fundamentally doing is that you can see here that we have got some commands. So you can have, because I already have the repo now. So, I have to run a command here. So let me run this command. This command is very simple. So git remote add origin. Now the thing is that, of course, whatever the changes we have done so far, it's just a local repo, which we have done here. But we have to actually go with the changes. Like we have to push these changes to my remote to my central repository. That is also something we have to do. Now, in this case, if you can see that we actually initialized, or we created this repository into a local system itself. So at that time, what happens, we were not having any kind of like a remote configurations here. So that's why when I ran the first time git remote hyphen v command, so we were like not having any kind of a remote configuration. But after that, we ran a command called git remote add origin. So origin is just a keyword. Like instead of git repository url, we're going to use the we're going to just use the origin keyword over here. That's all what we are trying to do. We are trying to use it up over here, because every time we cannot use the like a git repository url. So we really wanted to use the keyword called origin over here, so that we will be able to get the proper execution. So git remote add origin is the command. And origin is just a keyword which is available. Instead of origin, if you feel like you want to use origin 2, origin 3, origin 4, or any particular name you feel like you want to use, you can use that, and you can refer that particular part here. So it's completely up to you, like what's the specific name you really wanted to utilize, and you wanted to process over here in this one. All right. So git remote hyphen v is the command using which you will be like performing that setup and the execution here. All right. Now, so now whatever the operations, we are not going to use the particular repository link. We will be like always going to use the origin keyword over here in this one, and That's how we are going to perform the setup all together here. So let's see like fundamentally how we're going to perform these overall activity over here, so that we will be able to get the results back over here in this one. So that's a kind of implementations which we are going to conduct over here to get the proper results and the executions. So here, so we are going to run the git push origin master, and what will happen that all our particular changes from a local machine to a remote repository, it will be pushed. It will ask for the credentials, and definitely we can provide those credentials, and like a username and a password. And with that part, what will happen that our changes will be like pushed from our local system to a remote repository here. So you can see like it's trying to push those changes, right? So once this is done, once this is got over here, so like we will be just going up, and we will be like getting that particular results back over here in this one. So you will be just refreshing your page, and whatever the activities you have done from last 1 hour will be available back over here. So those files, folders, whatever you have got, so everything will be available here, and you will be able to like refer to up over here in this one. In fact, even if like you really wanted to refer to those, so like you wanted to establish the connectivity over here, so what you can do is that you can just talk about the different possibilities. You can see like all the 6 commits are visible here. You can just click over there, and you will see like all the commits which you have done so far, that all will be available over here in this case, and you will be able to perform here. So all of those mechanisms, all those changes which you're trying to conduct, that will be available, and that will be accessible over here right away in this case, in this particular stuff, right? In fact, any commit, if you open like randomly, I open any commit, you will be able to in fact see the changes also, like what changes we have done here. For example, see, is it like addition of file, or let me open the second commit. So a proper comparison will also be given to you, that whether you have done a kind of add operation, or you have done a delete operation. So each and every details will be available here, and we will be able to talk about these different options altogether. So that's a kind of implementations which we will be able to get over here in this one. So any changes we are trying to do, we will be able to get here. Now in my cases, what happens that we were like having the master branch, but like deco is just a main is just a branch name, because as per the new standards in git, so rather than using the master, it's sometime using the main terminology, so you don't have to worry about. So main master is just a branch name, so whether you want to use a main branch or master branch, it's up to you. But definitely you have to find out at what's the current branch which is available, and then only it's going to work for you. So that's the only thing. So we will talk about next week that how we can create the branches, how we can like find out the existing branch, because then only we are going to work with that, and we will be like providing the setup as such there. That's totally fine, decode, whether it's a master or main. So you will be able to get the proper results, so that's totally fine. All right, so this one we will be able to push our particular changes, whatever the changes we have got here, we will be able to push. Now, if I directly go and, for example, do some changes on the front end itself, for example, if I do some changes here, let's say I remove these changes from my front end application and commit it up here. So what will happen that you will like into your repository will get the 7 commits, right? So 7 commits will come up here. So this new commit will be showing. But if you run the git log command into your local system, you will not have that latest commit available there. So you can see that this update about us HTML is not available here into my local system because I have done those changes into my remote repository, like into my GitHub itself. I have directly went on there and perform the changes. So I have not done, like any changes from my local system and then ran the push command. Or it could be a possibility that somebody else or some different developer have done the push activity, or that new developer have or a different developer might have done the changes to the particular branch and like to the master or main branch and got the changes pushed to the particular version control system. So what we will be doing is that we will be eventually like taking an update of our local system so that because we have really got this new changes into the into the particular remote repository, and that's what we are trying to perform the setup here. So that's a kind of particular setup and modifications we are going to do here. All right, so in this situation what you're going to do, just git pull origin master. So whatever the changes available in the remote repository that simply came in, you can see that it says that there are some couple of 3 to 4 lines which I removed over here in this one. So if you run the git log command, you will see like the latest commit which is being done from the GUI from the GitHub will be listed over here in this one, right? So when you perform the changes from the GitHub, so that changes is going to be like listed down over here in this one, and we will be able to get that particular results back here. Right. So this is the like a perfect way that how we are going to perform the executions and how these results are going to be coming up over here in this one. So you were able to like do the changes from a remote repository, or maybe somebody some other developer is doing the changes to the code repository, and if you really wanted to bring those changes back into your local system, so all you have to do is that you have to just run the git pull command, and this will be done, this will be conducted, and you will be able to get the results back over here in this one. So push and pull, these are the only operations, these are the only tasks, 2 tasks which you're going to do, you are going to conduct so that you will be able to get the proper results back over here in this one. Right. So we still have some of the tasks to be conducted, like we will be like talking about the branching and merging. So those concepts also we will talk about, but we'll see those concepts there later on. Like we will talk about, or we will have those particular understanding next week to talk about that particular stuff as such there. Right. So but till this particular point, if anyone having any particular doubts, guys, also one thing I wanted to clarify here, since you are not going to work as a developer, so we are not expecting you to be that much expert in the git. So I'm just explaining you git commands because when you're going to perform the pipeline setup or any kind of changes to the source codes, or you will be also maybe in the future going to work on your changes. So in that case, you're going to talk about, or we will be like having those understanding there. But at this moment of time, we will be like only talking about git in the terms which is being used by you as a DevOps engineer. All right. Now, anyone else having any particular down, like any kind of, doubts or questions, guys? Great. So let's meet next week, and we will talk about, or we'll continue with the same process there. And guys, somebody confirmed that the recording is already there, like it's something which is already available into the like into the